So I was assigned to explain bad physics in movies or TV shows. So I, of course, chose the most action-packed show in the entire world. Not really. So here's the situation. SpongeBob and Patrick leave an amusement park called Glove World, and they just so happen to get on the wrong bus. The bus takes them to Rock Bottom, which they've never been to before. SpongeBob decides to go into the bus station to grab a bus schedule, but while he's gone, Patrick hops on the bus. SpongeBob realizes this, and then he runs towards the bus. This is when the laws of physics become completely non-existent.
Huh? So why is this an absolute disrespect to science? Well, we have Newton's third law, which states, when object A collides with object B, they will exert equal forces but in the opposite direction. In this case, object A is the bus and object B is the wall. So, to calculate the forces these two objects emit on each other, we need to use the equation F equals ma, where F equals force, m equals mass, and a equals acceleration. So, to find the mass of the bus, I just looked up how much the average city bus weighs, and it comes in at about 25,000 pounds to 40,000 pounds. So I chose 30,000 pounds, and I converted that to kilograms, and we have a value of about 13.6 thousand kilograms. So we can add that to the equation. And now we have acceleration, which is A. And this is a bit different because it equals the change in velocity divided by the change in time. So how do we find these two values? So the change in velocity is the final velocity minus the initial velocity. And so how I calculated the velocity is the bus is going at a constant speed, which is important. Sorry, I'm trying to think. I estimated the bus goes about 20 meters per second. Because, I mean, we don't know how fast the bus goes. And since this bus remains at a constant, like, pretty clearly at a constant speed throughout the clip, I think we can safely assume that the initial velocity does equal the final velocity. So we can do just 20 minus 20. We have a change in velocity of 0. So no change in velocity. It's the same speed all the way through. Now we have change in time, which equals final time minus the initial time. The way I calculated the time is I used the first frame the bus enters the screen as the initial time, which starts at 0 seconds. And the final time equals the first frame where the bus doesn't exist, which is about 1.1 seconds in. So it takes 1.1 seconds from the for the bus to get from the right side of the screen to the top left corner. It's about 1.1 seconds. So now that we have these two values, we can say A equals 0 divided by 1.1. And so A equals 0 meters per second squared. Because there really is no change in acceleration. The bus is not slowing down or speeding up, as we can see. Also, I need to change these values. Oh my. And, sorry. Technical difficulties here. So now we have F equals ma, mass equals 13.6 thousand, and acceleration equals 1. The reason I set it to 1 is because if it were 0, the mass of the bus would basically not exist, and that doesn't really make sense. So I just set it to 1 so the equation could work. And we have a force of about 13,607 newtons, which might be this value right here, but whatever. We'll just round it to the nearest whole number. And we can conclude that the bus and the wall exert a force of about 13,607 newtons, which is a lot of force, in my opinion. And if a bus were to collide with a wall with that amount of force, it would crush. That's what would make sense, right? So, but in this case, the bus just ignores it and just goes straight up the wall, which obviously disobeys the laws of physics.
So the next question I was asked to answer was to give this show a movie rating. So like PG or PG-13. So in this case, like PGP would be pretty good physics for like all ages. And then PGP-13 would be like seemingly good physics for people under 13, but like older people would know that it's really stupid physics. It's just kind of some fun rating system someone came up with. So I decided to give this show, or not this show, this episode, a rating of unrated. And the reason I say that is because the entire show is underwater. We don't know if the bus is moving slow. Like, we don't know if in reality the bus would move slower or faster, or if the bus could drive up walls. I doubt it. So I think it'd be something worth looking into, but I obviously don't want to. So, and then the last question I was asked to answer is, should Hollywood obey the laws of physics in their movies? So obviously this show isn't from Hollywood, but let's say it was. I think certain movies and shows should obey physics because, like, think about, like, movies that are supposed to be realistic. You know, war movies, romance movies, comedies, dramas. They should be realistic because they're designed to not be, like, action-packed or kid-friendly. You know, they're supposed to be just normal, you know. But for movies like superhero movies, like all like DC series, Marvel series, and cartoons, I guess, like Roadrunner and Coyote or whatever, and SpongeBob and all those, I think the show should have bad physics because I feel like the goal is to entertain the audience rather than, like, be realistic, you know, so it keeps the viewers engaged. So that's all. This part of the video was unscripted, so yeah, it sounds bad, but it's whatever. So please give me an A+.